In Spain, the first person to contract Ebola outside of West Africa is now in critical condition. For more on events surrounding the spread of the Ebola outbreak, I'm joined now by CCTV's Roee Ruttenberg from Madrid.
The Spanish government is coming under increasing criticisms for its handling of the situation here. Rajoy, the Spanish Prime Minister, came here to the hospital where Spain's first infected nurse is being treated. He was pelted by surgical gloves thrown at him by nurses. At the same time, he's trying to convince his country that the situation is under control. Hospital officials in Madrid say they're taking every precaution to ensure no one else becomes infected with Ebola. The number of Spanish citizens now under observation or undergoing treatment for the virus has doubled to 14. They volunteered to enter isolation after coming into contact with nurse Teresa Romero. Romero became the first person known to contract Ebola outside of West Africa after treating 2 Spanish missionaries who caught the disease there. So far, none have tested positive for the hemorrhagic fever that has left more than 4,000 people dead in West Africa. Meanwhile, the Spanish government announced it was setting up a, quote, special committee to manage the crisis.
Our
first priority is Teresa Romero. She is the only person that we know who has the illness.
The government has been facing mounting criticism from Spanish unions. They blame years of cuts in healthcare spending for what they say is Spain's lack of preparedness. Meanwhile, the condition of the infected nurse was said to be, quote, stable after hospital officials said she was critical earlier in the day. They've so far offered no additional details or explanations. Still, a growing number of nurses are resigning, saying they will refuse to treat potential Ebola patients. This is no longer just a health crisis in Spain, it's now a social crisis. Many Spanish citizens are angry that the first infected situation outside of Africa was here in their country. They want answers, and they say they simply aren't getting any.
Roee, let me ask you this. The government obviously trying to calm these people down. Is it working?
Well, the government is trying to show that it's taking actions. For example, it's sending a special team to, quote, decontaminate the neighborhood where Teresa Romero comes from, basically cleaning down everything that she may have touched or come into contact with. But there appears to be here a sense of a lack of education, health education about how Ebola is spreading or how it has spread, and many people fear that it could be quite contagious in ways that doctors say simply isn't true. But there appears to be quite the disconnect here between the average person on the street and the government. Many people here mistrusting the government and its intentions and its handling of the situation. Now Rajoy launching this special committee now 5 or 6 days after Teresa Romero's infection is confirmed, and many people angry that the government is blaming the nurse for having contracted Ebola, saying that it should be taking the blame itself.
Roee Ruttenberg, live for us in Madrid. Thank you. A man